Hello, hello, hello. All right.
I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
SportsTownChicago.com. Lombard, part of the Be On Air network and available on the TuneIn app.
Hell yeah.
Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportsTownChicago.com scoreboard update.
At 2 p.m., I'm Brett Cagle with your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. The White Sox lost last night to the Giants 5-3. Jonathan Hannon is now 2-7 on Matt Chapman, home in the sixth inning to extend the lead to 4 runs. But RBIs from Gavin Sheets and Miguel Vargas brought the Sox closer. Tonight, the Sox try and snap a 3-game losing streak against veteran left-hander Robbie Ray. Davis Martin will start for the Sox tonight. The 6'2", 27-year-old right-hander looks to pick up his first pitching win at 8:35 Central Time. Javier Assad starts for the Chicago Cubs tonight in a series opener against the Tigers. Chicago has a season record of 61-64 and will be playing tonight at home. The Cubs are 3-2 in their last 5 and are third in the NL Central. Chicago will be the betting favorite tonight according to online sports books at -150. League leaders collide tonight in the Yankees take on the Guardians. Former Tigers pitcher Matthew Boyd takes the mound for Cleveland in this road matchup in New York. Luis Gil has a record of 12-6 on the season and will look to improve on his 3.25 ERA. Superstar Aaron Judge has 44 home runs and 111 RBIs so far. On the PGA Tour, Hideki Matsuyama won the FedEx St. Jude Championship this past weekend with a final score of 17 under. The Japanese native netted $3.6 million at TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
Holy crap. I don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? We are back here on the Combat Connection live on SportsTownChicago.com. We are on YouTube, formerly on Twitch. We had a great weekend over the past weekend at UFC 305, Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. The entire card was filled with action-packed fights. Starting us off, we had Carlos Freitas earn a massive knockout win over perennial contender Li Jingliang. Now, Jingliang comes out of China and is widely regarded as one of the best Chinese prospects we've had in the UFC in quite some time. But Carlos Freitas really made this one look easy, starting off the 305 main card. Freitas is 6'2" at 170 pounds, very long for the weight class. He has now won 8 consecutive fights by knockout. And he knocked out Charles Radke before knocking out Ji Liang this last weekend. This guy is a problem from Brazil, fights out of the Fighting Nerds team with Kai Barallo, who will be challenging Jared Cannonier this weekend. Barallo, obviously a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, who's one of the smartest guys in the middleweight division. He is spearheading that team over there in Brazil, and he has some great fighters like Gene Silva and Carlos Freitas that are making their way up the rankings in their respective divisions. So I was really impressed with his performance on the main card on Saturday night, but we've got to get into this title fight between Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis really pulled off something that not a lot of people thought he was going to be able to do, especially considering how well Izzy looked early. I thought Israel Adesanya was up 2-1 in this fight. Dricus in the fourth round lands a submission, a rear naked choke, after rocking Izzy on the feet with back-to-back consecutive left hooks. The first one was really bad. Snapped the jaw back of Adesanya, and he retreated towards the cage. And then it looked like more of a pawing left hand that hit the top of the head of the former champion that sent him against the cage. From there, Dricus du Plessis took him down, got to the back, and was eventually able to find that rear naked choke submission victory. This was an absolute dominant win for Dricus du Plessis here by finish. But on the feet, there were some times that Israel Adesanya looked good. Now, does that surprise me? No, because he is one of the best technical kickboxers we've ever seen in the sport. But what really surprised me about the performance of Adesanya this weekend was his decline defensively. We know Israel, the style bender, is a guy who gets out of the way of everything that his opponent's throwing at him and counters with hard kicks or hard punches that end the fight. He's a very creative and dynamic striker. But when you go back and look at his early fights with Robert Whittaker, his fights with Derek Brunson, his fights with Anderson Silva, his fights with Paulo Costa, there was a different movement. There was a different level of coordination and athleticism to that fighter than what we saw last Saturday night. And, I just think that he's getting hit a lot more since the knockout loss to Alex Pereira. I know he came back and avenged that loss to Pereira, but since he originally lost the middleweight title for the first time, he has continuously, fight after fight, been touched more. You go and look at the Sean Strickland fight, lost all 5 of those rounds over 25 minutes, and was hit the most that he's ever been hit in his career. Comes back after a year. I'm not saying that he didn't look as good as what he did when he came back, when he was fighting Strickland, but he got touched up by du Plessis again this weekend and eventually dropped and then submitted. So I don't think that Israel Adesanya has much left in his career here. I think that this is more or less the end of the road. He's not a guy that's going to want to go to the back of the line and have to earn his way back to a title shot. He's a former champion that had, multiple title defenses, 6 title defenses before Alex Pereira came and dethroned him of his belt originally. I just don't see him taking 2 or 3 fights to get back into contention, which is what the UFC would want him to do after the loss last weekend. So, it's going to be a long road for Izzy. Maybe he moves up to 205 pounds after Alex gets rid of Roundtree. Say he beats Khalil Roundtree. Maybe they try and make Izzy go up a weight class and sell that fight with Pereira for the 3rd time. But there's not a lot of championship opportunities left for Israel Adesanya after what we just saw last weekend. He was all right in his last 2 fights. He has been dominated for 5 rounds by someone who is not a professional kickboxer, and Sean Strickland, but yes, is a very talented boxer and has great cardio. But he was dominated by him. 5 rounds won by the challenger. So then he comes back and he gets submitted on the ground. So you're not only getting beaten on the feet by these guys, you're now getting dominated on the ground. So I think that, Israel Adesanya's prime is past him. His defensive wrestling is not as good as it used to be. His striking defensively is not as sharp as it used to be. He clearly is getting hit more than we've ever seen him be hit in the past. And, it's just a matter of time before he gets his clock cleaned again against one of these up-and-coming guys. And, I don't know, because he is somebody that is going to be in the UFC Hall of Fame in very short order. But at the same time, you can't pick and choose guys to get title opportunities. And I don't think that the title opportunity this last weekend was deserved. When you look at him, he had taken a year off. He had lost to the 8th ranked guy in the division in Sean Strickland, and then comes back to an immediate title shot a year later because he has the ability to sell tickets. I understand it from a business perspective, but when you look at it from the competitive architecture of this division, I don't think he beats anybody really in the top 5 right now. Maybe he gets Whittaker in a rematch there, but this guy's best days are behind him. His best days striking are behind him as well, and that's his number 1 base. He's now getting touched up and dropped by guys like Sean Strickland. He's getting touched up and then submitted by guys like du Plessis. So I really think Israel Adesanya has had a great career, and I wish all the best for him. But as far as middleweight title contention is concerned, I believe that his best days are behind him. Now, this was a very, very good fight. Let's listen in to Dricus du Plessis talk to Daniel Cormier in the cage afterwards. He's going to give us his thoughts about how the fight played out and what it meant to him to beat a guy like Israel Adesanya, who's a historic figure in the sport.
This contest at 3 minutes, 38 seconds of the 4th round. Declaring the winner.
'By submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya.
And the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya.
4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and Israel Adesanya. 4 rounds. Declaring the winner by sub DC. I'm here with Dricus du Plessis and still the champion of the world. How good does it feel to win this fight in this fashion and what this fight became?
Well, I mean, obviously, I always knew shit. If I'm in trouble fighting one of the, if not the greatest strikers ever in this division, I need that takedown. Got the takedown. You know, at this level, it's hard to keep people down. This man is the king of getting back up. Nobody can take him down and keep him there. I got a few good ones, landed a few good punches, but ultimately, I believe this fight was won on the feet. Like I said, I'm alive right now. That's just a bonus. I came in here to die for this belt, and I came here to take a life. Luckily, tonight, we didn't have to do either of those things. But here I am, and still champion, baby. Thank you, Ben. This was the most amazing atmosphere I've ever fought in front. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody back home. Like when you're on what?
That was middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis talking with Daniel Cormier in the cage following his submission win over Israel Adesanya there. So Dricus du Plessis, to me, is the best middleweight in the world right now. He's somebody that is going to be a style matchup style nightmare for any matchup in this division. You know, the guys who are dominant wrestlers like Bo Nickel or Kai Baralo or elite grapplers, they're going to have trouble getting this guy to the ground because of how physically strong he is. And if that happens, he has just hammers in his hands, and he's going to get those grapplers out of there by knockout. Now, if he faces elite strikers like Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira, you know, guys coming up like Shara Bullet, Magomedov, guys like that, he's going to be able to just take you to the ground and do what he did with Israel Adesanya and eventually wear you down, find some home for jabs and big shots on the feet, then take you down and submit you. He's very well-rounded, and I think that he is just not given enough credit for the full you know, repertoire of his game, being able to finish fights not only on the feet but on the ground, and also having a style that's conducive for decision victories as well. He can really hang on and solidify him for him. So I really like du Plessis' game. I think that he's kind of awkward and herky-jerky on the feet. I know some people drew comparisons to Keith Jardine while standing. I know Big John McCarthy and Josh Thompson were saying that he's kind of has the herky jerky style, ability to take your shot and land his own. And so far it's worked in the division. I think his ability to take a shot
from Perth, Australia. Now, DC, it looked like Israel Adesanya was starting to assert himself in that fourth round. It looked like he was in control of the fight. And then, boom, it was over.
But Izzy was still a bit fresh, and he was able to defend. But in the fourth round, with that takedown, once he got after the takedown, he jumped on his back, got to the rear naked choke, and got news that Alex Pereira wants to go back down on the 185 to fight him. That would be amazing. The mixed martial arts, he is the number one contender. He is waiting and ready. And Robert Whitaker is fighting Hamzat Chimaev that you have contenders right now. But
down to 185 pounds, which I think would be taxing on his body. But nonetheless, there is a number one contender there waiting for Dricus du Plessis. Strickland and him went and had a war, or a fight that was who won. Dricus du Plessis did win that fight by split decision, but there's no one that deserves this more than Sean Strickland. Du Plessis was able to take out former champ with how close the first fight was. And honestly, I thought it was entertaining. Some people thought that fight and the pace wasn't that. I didn't mind the fight. I thought it was a good, I'm not saying that it was striker dominant positions on the ground against Sean Strickland. Who is good off of his back, and Strickland and him is a great fight. Moving forward, that's the one that du Plessis face Sean Strickland. But when we get back, we're going to talk about the Rosenstrike fight. One of the judges gave the fight 30-27 to Tuivasa and was UFC following him putting his scorecard in. He was supposed to score the immediate.
Now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage.
Domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
Indeed is the #1 job search user in the job searching process to find a job by uploading 10 new job opportunities every 10 seconds worldwide. With Indeed, there are over 10,000 employees at Indeed, people to new opportunities. Go to Indeed.com and sign up for free and create a resume and let Indeed do the rest to help you on your job search.
Hey, I'm Jesus Mauricio. Be sure to tune in every Friday to listen to Zeus Off the Bat, a baseball talk show from 1 to 2 p.m., where I'll be discussing and updating you on all things about baseball. News, predictions, reactions, and more about the Cubs, Sox, and everything across the league. Happens every Friday at 1 p.m. right here on SportsTownChicago.com. Don't forget to follow and share our Twitter and Instagram with your friends at Zeus Off the Bat. Zeus Off the Bat.
France and Steve Urseg in a flyweight title eliminator. Steve Urseg just went to a decision with a fight. If he to take down one time in this fight, which was really alarming to me. Already been. I thought that the path to victory for Steve Urseg was to get this fight to the ground. He didn't even I don't know. I on pure performance, I don't think that he does. Performance that propelled him to a title shot. You know, the UFC brass just looked at this guy and thought tremendous amount of skills, both standing and on the ground. It almost worked because, as I mentioned, Steve Urseg almost between Dan Hooker and Mateus Gamrot. Underdog Dan and Hooker won is a 2.5 to 1 favorite. Who would have taken the underdog? Certainly an unpredictable card, a card that many experts had, some Carlos Paretos put on an incredible performance to start the card. Then we immediately go in. To Tai Tuivasa Rosenstrike, followed by 3 great fights to finish. For Adesanya, some people had a 2-1 for Duplessis before going into that 4th round. Gamrot and Hook, we had a good one with Prates and G Ling. Li Jingling Yang, who hung in there tough for a little bit until he couldn't anymore against. Did have the lightweight contest between Dan Hook, and this will tell you how close this 4 for Gamrot. Total strikes 82. They were dead even, basically, based off what I just read you. A 6 differential in total to try and put volume on Dan Hooker and win the decision victory. But Hooker was the one legitimately trying to finish the fight. The most new finishing the fight was Dan Hooker. I agreed with the decision. Jared Cannonier and Kai Baralo, that is definitely worth fight fans press conference this week. The Battle of the Giants press. he plans to be joining the PFL and starting his mixed martial arts career. Also get to talk to Francis and Henan Ferreira about their highly anticipated heavyweight showdown. So I'm really excited for that sound that I can next weekend back for the show here next Tuesday for the Combat Connect, as well as the fights on Friday night. So we're going to have a lot of great coverage and video. Us in our schedule here. When we get back from this next commercial break, we're going to break down the PFL Washington card and also look a little bit at the UFC Fight Night card between Cannonier and Baralo. I'm going to give you some best bets for the week ahead, even though these are Fight Night cards and not necessarily paper. Reviews. There is some good plays from a betting perspective that I think you get.
.com.
Are you ready for this? Valley View Automotive has all of the hottest SUVs you've been looking for. Lot for half the price. Yes, half the price. Now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage of this outrageous sale. You better get here quickly, because this promotion is only going on for 24 hours, and the automobiles are leaving the lot faster than you can say four-wheel drive. Valley View Automotive, a dealership you can depend on.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action right now to teach boys that violence against women is wrong, to help prevent abuse before it starts. Call free Take Action Kit containing tips on what to say to boys. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
Indeed is the number one. Go to Indeed.com and sign up for free and create a resume and let Indeed do the rest to help you on your job.
From 1 to 2 p.m., where I'll be discussing and updating you on all things about baseball, news, predictions, reactions, and more about the Cubs. TownChicago.com. Don't forget to follow and share our Twitter and Instagram with your friends at Zuzat.
All right, fight fans, let's talk a little bit about this Fight Night card coming up this weekend between Jared Cannonier and Kai Baralo. 17-7 former title challenger Jared Cannonier takes on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt 16-1 Kai Baralo. I like Baralo in this matchup. 31 years old compared to 40-year-old. It may be a problem considering Cannonier has a wealth of experience and a 6'1". The reach does rely on the side of Jared Cannonier, the shorter fighter, somehow by 2 inches. The statistics for this one, the shorter fighter by 2 inches, but actually has the longer reach by 2 inches. So that's very interesting. But I like Baralo in this one. I think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground. If he doesn't get the fight to the ground, like, get it now on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you are sitting there looking at a play for this weekend, I'd like the double chance option on Kai. Perennial contender and 9 years of age. She will be taking on the 29-year-old Tabitha Ricci, who comes into this one at 10-2. Now, Hill is a taller fighter, a volume striker who is someone who's very tough, very competitive, has fought some of the best competition the sport has to offer. She's going to have a 3.5-inch reach advantage on Tabitha Ricci, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think the baby shark Tabitha Ricci on the decline. Alice from Ecuador versus long time contender in the welterweight division, Neil Magny. He's been in the top. Magny's been taking on contenders and up and coming guys, and he's going to take on another one, Alice, in this one by knockout. I think that he's going to get the job done versus Neil Magny. We've seen Neil Magny get chinned in the past by guys like Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think Morales is another young Latin American contender who's going to have a significant amount of power in his hands, and I don't think Neil's going to be able to get him to the ground based on Michael's strength and athletic ability. 6'2", tremendous athlete. This guy, if he was born in the United States of America, would be a safety in the National Football League or something like that. His body is, a very athletic, coordinated, flexible. He's just a very good athlete, and I think that he's going to get the job done over Neil Magny in this one due to that athleticism, and I'm going to take him by knockout. He's 16-0, and I like him to improve to 17-0 this weekend. Middleweight contest between striker Edmund Shabazian, who is 13-4, and grappler Gerald Meerschaert from Milwaukee, who's 36-17. Meerschaert has struggled when he can't get the fight to the ground. We've seen him get knocked out by guys like Khamzat Chimaev in the past, but when on the ground, Gerald Meerschaert is one of the trickiest customers in the entire UFC. So I actually like Meerschaert in this one as an underdog, submission or points at the FanDuel Sportsbook. I think that Edmund Shabazian has struggled significantly with grapplers, and honestly, at times he's even struggled with strikers. He was very young at one point in his UFC career, but now's the time where he would be entering his prime. I think that Meerschaert is just too experienced, too good on the ground for Shabazian, and we'll see, because if he doesn't get the fight to the ground, Edmund Shabazian has a legitimate chance to knock him out. This is this is the best example of a striker versus grappler matchup on this card. I think that the paths to victory for these guys are pretty by the book. Edmund Shabazian wants to keep this on the feet and knock out Gerald Meerschaert champion style to try and get a submission win. So that's what we've got next weekend for the UFC Fight Night card. I am going to be in Washington, D.C. I fly out tomorrow for the press conference and then fights for the PFL. I will bring you guys back as much content as I can, audio and video wise. Thanks for joining us here on the Combat Connection. We will see you guys next Tuesday at 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com.
This is your home for sports.
This is the best fans in the world.
No better team.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Are you ready for this? Valley View Automotive has all of the hottest SUVs you've been looking for. Enjoy a test drive and the opportunity to drive one of these powerful vehicles off the lot for half the price. Yes, half the price. Now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage of this outrageous sale. You better get here quickly, because this promotion is only going on for 24 hours, and the automobiles are leaving the lot faster than you can say four-wheel drive. Valley View Automotive, a dealership you can depend on.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action right now to teach boys that violence against women is wrong, to help prevent abuse before it starts. Call the Family Violence Prevention Fund at 1-800-END-ABUSE to get a free Take Action kit containing tips on what to say to boys. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
Indeed is the #1 job search user with over 250 million monthly users. Indeed's priority is to help everyone in the job searching process to find a job by uploading 10 new job opportunities every 10 seconds worldwide. With Indeed, you have free access to job searches, resume uploads, and company researches. There are over 10,000 employees at Indeed that pursue to help people find the job they are looking for. They connect with millions of people to new opportunities. Go to Indeed.com and sign up for free and create a resume and let Indeed do the rest to help you on your job search.
Hey, I'm Jesus Mauricio.